We are live for our February interview of the month, and I am super excited to bring this gal on. We have Torrance Hart with us today. She is the owner of Teak and Twine, an amazing client gifting service. We have used that for not only our family and fellow vendor friends, but as well as our brides. And so while you guys are starting in here, I'm going to go ahead and bring her in. Hi, Torrance. How are ya?
Hi, everyone. I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be chatting with you all.
So while we're getting people to come in, tell me a little bit about where you're located right now.
We are in the DC area, a DC suburb, Burke, Virginia, which is actually where I grew up and where my husband grew up. So after traveling all over the country for the past 10 years in the Air Force, we are back home and it feels great.
Awesome. And I know that you guys, so we've got people joining in real quick. As you're joining in, let us know where you're from. Feel free to introduce yourselves. We've got a lot of new faces in the group just today. But I know that today you guys had a pretty big event happen, which kind of will lead us into what we're talking about tonight. So tell me a little bit about what happened today.
Right. So Meredith knows we have had today on the books for at least a month or two. And at the time, I had no idea that today would actually coincide with my third move of the business in 2 years. So I'll get into all the details, but I've moved my business cross country twice in the past 2 years. And then today, for our final move, we got out of my house and moved to a warehouse nearby in Alexandria, Virginia. So we've got more space, room to grow, and room for a little bit of work-life separation for me personally. So it's a huge day and couldn't be more timely with the conversation that we're having today.
Yeah, I know. So if you get a chance after the Facebook Live, head on over to Instagram, check out Teak and Twine, and you can see her Instagram stories of their move today to this beautiful new warehouse. And they moved so fast. You guys were like on it. I was really impressed. But I know that I can kind of oversimplify what you guys do. So tell me, what is Teak and Twine for the people that are not familiar with it?
Absolutely. So basically, 2 years ago, I was thinking about businesses that I could start. And my husband was still in the Air Force. And actually, so was I at the time. But I'd been in for about 8 years, and I knew that I didn't want to stay in forever, that my dream had always been to spend some time in the Air Force, get out, get my MBA, and go get a fancy business job and wear power suits and all that good stuff. And then I met my husband, and he messed up my perfect plan by being in the Air Force. So I'm like, okay, plan B. How about I just skip the fancy business school and just jump right in, start a business, and figure it out along the way? And that's basically what I did. So I started with the people that I wanted to serve. I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to make, but I knew the tribe of people that really resonated with me. And it was like wedding adjacent or creative entrepreneurs. I just loved that creative industry. And so I had just kind of been creeping along for at least a few years, and just sort of constantly thinking about what business I could start that would serve these folks. And I thought about wedding welcome gifts, which were really becoming a trend 3 to 4 years ago. And at the time, they were just a do-it-yourself on behalf of the bride or the planner at the very last minute. And I thought, you know what? I think that this is something I could take off of the planner's plate, something that I could do for brides, create something that's cohesive with the rest of the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And then in a story that is going to be familiar to anyone who owns a business, I started it and it went in a really different direction. I was getting inquiries off of my Instagram posts, but they were for client gifts and corporate gifts and bridesmaid gifts or birthday gifts. And I just stayed flexible and went with it. And so looking at where we are now, we're probably a 50% corporate gifting business, and then 30% client gifting, and the rest purchases out of our online shop, which has gifts for all occasions. And basically what we do is we try to source the most beautiful, well-packaged items from all over the country, from everything from larger companies to the smallest makers we can find. And then we create cohesive, color-coordinated, branded packages that create kind of a color story or are on brand for either the photographer or the creative person we're working with, or for the larger company that we've worked with. And 2.5 years later, we have gotten to make almost 12,000 gifts, and it's been such an incredible journey and so much fun.
That's a lot. That's a lot of boxes. And I know, if you're just joining us, I know that Torrance told us that she moved today, literally today. Before moving today, where was your business located?
So started the business while I was still active duty Air Force, and my husband and I were stationed in Destin, Florida. I did both at the same time for a year, which was crazy. And I definitely got in trouble a few times from my boss for doing a little inboxing while at the office, but made that work for a year. And then 2 years after starting the business, we found out we were moving to New Mexico. So I was 7 months pregnant, packed up the business, moved to New Mexico, hired a new team, got right back up and running. And then 7 months later, packed it all up again and moved to the DC area. And then just today, 6 months after first coming back to the DC area, we moved from my house just 15 minutes down the road to a warehouse. So 3 moves in less than 3 years, and still standing.
And so all of those boxes that you sent out beforehand, before today, have been coming out of your own home. And you mentioning the fact that you had a team that you had to rehire. I almost want to have you come back on and just talk about hiring new teams, because I bet that's a whole nother umbrella of just amount of work to do and deal with different personality types and finding the right people to make sure that your gifts, because I'll tell you guys, we have been using Teak and Twine for our client gifting for a while now. I've kind of lost track when we started, but I think you guys were still in Florida at the time.
Absolutely.
And so every single client gift that has been sent out from them, despite the moves, has always been on point. Like, we've never had issues with really anything. And knowing the amount of volume that you're also pushing out through your store, your business, is pretty amazing for that level of quality control. So it sounds like you got into the business to do one thing, and it kind of shifted into what it is now, which you've done really, really well. Do you have a design background? Because guys, if you haven't had a chance to check out her feed, these gifts are just so well curated.
Thank you so much. And it has been so fun working with you. I mean, you were one of our first clients and it's been a blast. I would love to come back on and talk about hiring because we have done it all. I've got about 15 ladies working with me right now, and they are virtual. They're all over the country. Some are full-time in person. Some are part-time in person. Some are contractors. So I am like the outsource queen. And it's one of the things that I just love speaking on. And I also wanted to mention just really briefly that I was proud to run this business out of my house for as long as I did.
I think that's
and
amazing.
Honestly, today was a bittersweet day for me. It was, of course, everyone says congratulations, and it is a big step in business, but there was something so lovely about the work-life balance of working in my house. I get to kiss my baby in the middle of the day. My employees and I would have lunches around the dining room table. There was a real family atmosphere, and it was lovely. And I feel like there's a lot of talk that kind of makes you feel like you're not a real business if you're in your house. And that could not be further from the truth. Like, we were business-wise killing it, and the house was not holding us back at all. It wasn't holding us back from getting corporate clients with like Fortune 20 companies. They didn't care. So I just do want to say that even though we moved into a warehouse, if you feel anything less than for being in your house, let that go, because no one cares. And there are so many advantages: low overhead, work-life balance. It's lovely. And I would hang on to it for as long as you can. I know I did, and enjoyed every minute of it. And I do not have a design background. Actually, it's kind of funny how opposite my background was. I was an intelligence officer in the Air Force. Like, that is my background.
So you're not designing pretty gifts. That's
no, not at all. And a lot of people have been like, that seems like a complete 180. How did you make that crazy transition? And what's so funny is that it doesn't feel like a complete 180, because I think that what anyone who runs a creative business would admit is that I hope you love the non-creative parts of running a business just as much, because that's what you're going to be doing. Yes. So honestly, very shortly after I started, a lot of the creative aspect at this point, certainly, I don't do. I've got amazing ladies on the team that help me design gifts and help me in sourcing products. And what I'm spending my time on is managing the team, thinking strategically, thinking about like overall like marketing, PR, moving to a warehouse, calling the Comcast guy to come to the warehouse, the HVAC is broken. All of that stuff is what I work on. And I'm so lucky that what I really love about what I do is the business side. Like, give me an accounting spreadsheet over a gift design any day. I know. It's totally sick.
No, thank you.
Okay. I don't do my own accounting, but I do love looking at the spreadsheets.
Yeah.
And in that way, there's a lot of similarities from my last job. It was all about being really disciplined about your inbox and taking care of your customer. It was just a different customer, and being really, being really detail oriented. So in a lot of ways, it actually has been a pretty seamless transition skills wise. But I'm kind of a weirdo in that way.
But I think you really hit a nail on the head there with the fact that I mean, some of us get into, like, for me, example, I got into this business. My husband says this, quote unquote, I wanted to take pretty pictures, and I still do. But the progression over time, as you stick with a business, needs to become this love for the business side of things. Like you said, the spreadsheets. And for us, it's been me kicking and screaming with the workflow side of things and outsourcing. But the more we do it, the more we realize what an amazing thing that is. And I get a little nerdy about the workflow now and the outsourcing and the things like that, because as you grow and evolve as a business owner, you kind of have to learn to love those things, I think. So for you as a business owner, what keeps you going? Because for us in the creative industry, it's really easy to burn out, to just overdo everything yourself. So for you, what do you feel like is something that keeps you going?
I think two things. The first is that I think a big thing is that my old job in the Air Force was awesome and I loved it. But it was super hard, and I was deployed all the time, and I was working crazy hours, and it was very stressful. And so honestly, I wake up every day now, and I can't believe that this is my life. Mm-hmm. I still feel so privileged to be doing this, and I still feel like I am on vacation. I mean, I think that I'll just never totally lose the amazingness of how hard some people have it. And even though I was in the military, I definitely was not one of the people who was even on the front lines and stuff like that. But I got close enough to where I just came out with so much gratitude. So every day that I get to make beautiful gifts and serve clients is the best day. And I kind of have a philosophy that I do not deserve to ever complain about anything. Yeah. And I really feel very lucky to be doing this. I mean, honestly, it's awesome. It's so cool. Yeah. And then I think the other thing is that I'm very competitive with myself. Mm-hmm. So I look at how we did last February and I want to beat it. And I look at the boxes that we put together and I want to see how we can make them more beautiful. And I think about our client experience and the touch points we have with our clients. And I think about how we can up level those. So I just think that striving to do better, to be more efficient, to create a better product. I'll never get tired of that. It's such an awesome competition with yourself.
And really I think that's the only person we should be in competition with, is if we are only competing with ourselves, then we will always progressively get better. And there will be no stagnation because you are pushing yourself to be better. I love that. And I love the fact that you have that gratitude and that attention to you're serving somebody, and that you get to do this really cool job every single day. So I think that that's definitely an aspect that will keep you going for a very long time. So we're going to kind of shift gears here. We've talked about just kind of the overall general stuff. Mm-hmm. And for those of you that are joining us, I really wanted to bring Torrance in here because she has moved a ton in 2 years. So what is the hardest thing for you about moving your business, whether it's from today where it's just out of your home and into a physical space outside of your house, or across country? What has been some of the hardest things for you moving your business?
So cross country is easy. It's losing part of the team. And I have tried really hard with our 2 cross country moves to find ways to keep anyone I can employed virtually. So if you look at a map of my virtual employees, They're where I've lived. And, you know, I try, but of course there are folks that help us make gift boxes that I can't work with if I'm going to live across the country. And that stinks because we really are, you know, it feels like family and certainly great friends. But we've all kept in touch, which is awesome. And then moving like from here to the warehouse, that, you know, it's just a painful day. Really, once you get everything boxed up. I think that the hardest part is actually the 2 weeks leading up to the move. Because one of the things we do is at least 2 weeks before we move, as we get product and inventory, we're not going to unpack it and put it on the shelves. It's already packed for shipping. So we start piling it, leaving it in boxes. And as we need a product, we'll pull out one. And so it's just, it becomes very chaotic and disorganized. And it gets to the point where you just can't wait to get moved so that you can get back organized. And anyone who's moved, even personally, can completely understands that, you know, for the 2 weeks before you move, you don't know where any of your things are and you just want to get it over with. So I think the waiting period leading up to actual moving day, once that moving truck comes up, it's like, oh, it's all good now. We got this.
Yes. Oh, yes. The hurry up and wait.
Exactly.
The boxes pile up and pile up and pile up. I totally resonate with that. So what are some of the tools, like in our house, we are really tech nerds, and I blame that on my husband. But what are some of the tools you've used to make the move easier for you guys, as well as for your employees?
So I was joking with the team today. I was like, well, I did the first 2 moves pretty much by myself. And this one I had 7 people. And I have determined after careful observation that it's more fun to move with 7 people than by yourself. So along those lines, actually, I just started using this website or app called TaskRabbit. And I've also heard great things about Thumbtack. But what's great about them is I went on, and you can hire someone to help you move or to assemble furniture, and it's hourly and it's immediate. So I hired a guy last night at 10 p.m. to show up this morning at 9 a.m. to assemble a bunch of IKEA furniture. And it happened. It was incredible. And I hired another guy the day before to help us move. And I said, bring a truck. And he showed up with 1 day's notice and helped us out. So websites like that can get you an extra set of hands at the drop of a hat. Because sometimes the moves, you're not exactly sure when it's going to happen. Or maybe you think you want to do most of it yourself, but you just want one extra set of hands for the tough stuff. Or once you get to your new place, you'd love to be able to immediately, one of the reasons we were able to go so fast is because we had all this, we had, you know, some help putting together all the shelving. So we just had to unload the boxes. So
y'all moved fast. Again, go look at her Instagram stories from today, because y'all moved so fast.
We had a couple girls with a power drill, and it was awesome.
That is awesome. Yeah. That, so TaskRabbit and Thumbtack. I will have to check those out. I've heard of Thumbtack before, but I have not heard of TaskRabbit. So we'll definitely put these down in the comments later on to let you guys kind of check back through them. And I've noticed a couple of you guys have started asking questions, which is awesome. Go ahead and keep asking them, because we're going to pop them up at the very end so that Torrance can go ahead and answer those at the very end. So moving into your business growth, because you guys have only been in a business, correct, 2 years? So what is one of the key things that has helped your business grow as fast as it has? Because it's just really exploded. I've seen you guys in magazines and with really big corporate gifts as well.
Thank you so much for your support. I mean, there's really three things that have contributed to all our growth. We were very lucky to start our business during what I now term like the heady days of pre-algorithm Instagram. Yeah, it was the Wild West. It was amazing. Engagement was ridiculous. You could have explosive growth. And I'm not saying that none of that isn't possible now, and we're still getting great leads from Instagram, but Instagram is what we owe a lot of our initial growth to. And basically I just posted gifts in the beginning, and I just saw what got people excited, what kinds of products they liked, and then I just went in that direction. Post algorithm, we are seeing most of our growth on Pinterest. And so we are moving our assets and our attention to Pinterest as fast as that shift is happening. Jenna Kutcher has some awesome courses on it, some awesome freebies on it. And we have really dove into those resources and seen amazing results with just paying attention to that platform. We use Tailwind to schedule our pins to go out every day. So we have seen really great growth there. And then the third one is we have super high repeat client percentages, like very high. Like many people like Meredith that we have worked with for 2 years, for 2.5, like since the beginning. I mean, we have corporate clients where we have made them Christmas gifts 3 years in a row. Every Christmas that we have been in business, we've made gifts for them. And I think that is just the attention that we pay to the client experience, with which I know is something everyone says. So I'll try to be very specific about how we serve our clients. I think that we reply to emails very quickly, which corporate clients like a lot. We are happy to send samples. We try to under promise and over deliver. So if we say we'll have a gift at a certain point, we try to have it there earlier. If we'll try to customize additional elements of the gift. But the amazing thing is that the bar is set so low in terms of client experience. Not other small businesses who are doing an incredible job, but in the world of basically buying online from a non-person and having an issue and sending an email into a black hole and never hearing back. People are so used to getting treated not like people that if you are even what I would say would be just the bare minimum of responsiveness and talking to them like they're people and empathy over email, people are blown away. I am amazed by the number of times that I respond in a way that I think is very just bare minimum of service. And people have replied like, I can't believe this level of service. So it's kind of cool when you think about it, the way that you can surprise people just by treating them well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it will make raving clients out of people without you ever having to pay them, without you ever having to really expend a lot of capital if you just do those things. And they will then refer you like crazy because of that, because they know that they can trust their friends with your company as well, that you're going to take care of their friends just as well as you have them. So what advice would you give to someone facing moving their own business?
So one of the things that we did with our second cross-country move that really helped is we talked to our customers about it. The first move, I kind of thought that the goal was pretend like it isn't happening. Don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
And hopefully no one will realize it's even happened. Like, just make it completely seamless.
Mm-hmm.
Don't talk about it at all. And just try to get back up and running immediately. With the second move, I decided to just talk about it. So I sent out an email to all of our clients that we make custom gifts for. And I just let them know a month in advance, hey, we're moving and here's why. And we're excited. Just talk to them like people.
Yeah.
And I can send gifts out up until this date, and then we'll be back up and running this date. So this week will be a little tough for us. And I was amazed by the response. It actually was an awesome way of connecting with my clients. A lot of them lived in the new place that I was moving, so they were excited to get to connect with me face to face potentially. Mm-hmm. A lot of them sent us emails after the move asking how it went. And the clients were so happy to allow us that grace period and to support us during that move. And they made it so much easier than if I had just tried to keep it a secret. The other thing is to put up that banner on your website right at the top. And I know you want to make it cohesive and beautiful, but I've tried the beautiful ones and people don't see them. So now I make them real bold and ugly and just say, like, we are, I don't think we ever said we're moving. I think we said we're out or something like that. And then you just let people know that any gifts ordered or anything ordered from your shop between this date and this date, we'll get back to you on this date. Now, I've had folks working for me virtually who have been able to man the inbox even during a move. But if you don't have that and you'll be out of pocket or driving a U-Haul cross country, just put up that out of office so that anyone who emails you knows what's going on and they're happy. They'll be happy to wait a couple days and they'll be excited for your new adventure.
Exactly. And you guys did that so well. Because the first move, it was more of a, wait, weren't you in Florida? When did that happen? And, there was no lack of customer service. There wasn't any drop in anything, but it was more of a hold on. Wait, what? And the second one, it was definitely, okay, I know that they're moving to Virginia. And I agree with you, that reaction that people probably had of, oh my gosh, you're right down the street from us. Or, before we hopped on here, I was telling you about, I've got a friend that just moved to Maryland and I definitely want to connect the two of you guys. So there's definitely that, that power in letting people know that that's going on, so that there's that connection of, well, let me connect you with such and such, or let me get you in touch with this person down the street. And that's not necessarily just in the military community, but just in general of, let me connect you, let me help you. So I think you guys did it really well, especially that second time of letting people know and talking with them. So here's the big question. What is next for Teak and Twine in 2018 and moving into 2019? Are there things that you're really excited about with the client gifting experience that's coming up?
Yes, I am so excited to talk about this. Meredith doesn't know about this. This is like a family-only secret until right now. Okay. We are launching a new website on the 15th of March. Okay. Don't hold me to that date. You know how websites go. Now that I've said it, it won't happen. There's going to be some horrible glitch. But anyway, very soon we're launching a new website, and folks will have the capability to scroll through our entire product line and drag and drop to create their own customization.
Oh, that's awesome.
Sets. Yes, we just get so many emails from people who say, we love this gift on your website, but I'm gluten-free. Can you make this swap? Or we love this, but we're looking for this price point. Or I want this, but can you put two of them next to each other side by side? And we've also had to have a minimum for the customization because we put so much time into the design and the back and forth. And so I'm just really excited to see the designs that our community comes up with, and to be able to serve more people than we can now, because it is such a labor-intensive process, and to be able to serve folks whose client experience, who want to deliver an amazing experience at every price point. So we are very, very excited about that. It's going to be really cool.
Wow. I mean, so you guys get to hear this first here. This has not been shared anywhere else.
No.
I think that is going to be fantastic. So will this take over the custom gifts that you guys do for wedding vendors and for brides that are wanting to do a gift for their guests? Or will you guys still do that a little bit and then allow it to be on the website as well?
Folks that we already have customized gifts for, designed gifts for, are basically grandfathered into that process. Perfect. Such as yourself, Meredith. Inquiring minds wanting to know. Yes. So you are good to go. And all of the folks that we have already designed a gift for, that process will stay pretty much the same. We've got a couple ways that I think where it's going to make it a little bit easier than the current process. But we do hope that for future brides, future photographers, real estate agents, interior designers who are coming to design client gifts, that hopefully the website is helpful to them, that they can play around. I know we have a lot of folks who are creative themselves. So they'll ask me questions like, can I just look at your product line and, put stuff together? We have a surprising number of people who actually go through our Instagram, Photoshop out individual products, and send us like a Photoshop rendering of what they want. So honestly, this just feels like a natural extension of what people are asking for. And hopefully it's something fun that they can use to be able to be even more involved with the customization of their gift. And of course, we're still totally there to help answer people's questions. And we'll have to figure out, there will be some sort of minimum cutoff where we're happy to, jump in on the design process.
I think that's fantastic, though. It's going to allow you guys to have serve such a larger client base, because there's only so much you as a person can do, or your team. And so that's going to be amazing. I can't wait to see when that launches. I can't wait to go around and play with it. I love my client box, but I will say that for friends and for Christmas presents, I'm excited to try that out and see even what other people come up with too as they're designing things. I think that'll be really neat. So you'll have to keep us updated when that happens so we can kind of all go check it out as well. And awesome. So what I want to do now is, we've got a couple questions. If you guys are watching still, and I know some people had to hop in and hop off and come back because they're putting babies down. Totally understand that. But start putting the rest of those questions in here. If you have questions about client gifting, this is the perfect time to ask them while we have her in here. And so I'm going to go ahead, and we have some business related questions and some looks like client gifting questions on here. So I'm going to throw this one up. So my husband asked, what is the hardest aspect of dealing with employees?
Man, I have been so lucky. I think
you do have good people.
I have great people. And so I'll just talk a little about maybe my guess as to why our folks are so great. Yes. And it's weird. It's because they find me on Instagram. The only way I've hired anyone is they have seen a hiring post on Instagram, or they come to us through a friend. But if you follow us on Instagram, you already like what we're doing. You are into our business. And so it's going to be a good fit, as opposed to, a complete stranger that we meet. And then of course, some of the best people we find through referrals, if I have a great person, I'll say like, call your friends, bring everyone. But I think that one of the hardest parts is the stress on my shoulders of payroll and the fact that, people are counting on me, not just to show up every day and to be a leader and to support them in their goals, but to pay them and to be profitable. So, it's easy to cut costs in other regards, but it's, you hope to never have to cut costs in that regard. And I've been pretty lucky so far. But it's always in the back of my mind that when I hire someone, I'm taking on a huge responsibility. And so I never lose that weight.
Yeah. And that's phenomenal to keep that in the back of your head. I think that will allow not only for the hiring of good employees, which I think that's amazing that you have found them through posts on Instagram, that they're aware of your business. It's not a cold call of, let me submit a resume and do all of that. So I think that's really great that you've been able to do that. Let's see, okay. So Susie says, where do you order your linen boxes? I still have mine from Susie is a past bride as well as a photographer.
Awesome.
So that's why she knows about the box. So she's obsessed with the packaging and have been wondering all this time where it came from.
Happy to share. So packaging and branding and everything about that was where we invested most of our money starting the business. I hired Suanne Song from Simple Song Design here in the DC area. She's also the founder of Appointed Notebooks, which has blown up this year. So she did all of our logo and branding. And then the linen boxes are made by a company called Brymar Packaging out of Ohio.
Okay.
And I hate saying that sometimes because they have a very high minimum order. So we order 2,000 boxes at a time. And so I know a lot of the folks that ask me that are looking to buy 20 boxes to send out to their clients. And so I just don't want to send people in a bad direction. Along that line, Sugar Paper LA makes some really nice, high quality gift boxes. I'm all about the boxes that are going to stand up really sturdy, not the setup boxes that just pop open flat. So Sugar Paper makes some good ones. Paper Source makes a really high quality setup box in a couple different sizes. And if you're looking for really small sizes, Uline does make some that are kind of more of a jewelry box size. So those might be helpful. And then there are some vendors on Etsy that will make wooden boxes, custom sizes at around a $30 to $40 price point. So it's not quite as high as like a Make and Stow, for instance, which makes like $120 wood boxes that, if you were to be buried in a box that nice, you would be very lucky.
You're amazing.
Yeah. And then all of our printing, so the TT square and the belly bands, anything made out of paper is printed by RAF Embossing, RAFF Embossing. They are incredible printers in Southern Maryland. And they do absolutely everything for us. So yeah, we are very much a packaging and presentation company. It's a huge part of our brand and who we are. So that's awesome to hear that folks are liking it. Thank you, Susie. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and she actually does stationery. So I have a guess that maybe that might be something she's looking for to send for her stationery clients so that things don't get broken or bent, because those are very sturdy linen boxes. So we are jumping back on the business questions. Jason says, since you're more of a product-driven business, how do you plan for the following year? So how do you plan for that 6 months to a year out with those products?
I do a terrible job of it. We are constantly selling out of inventory, and it's crazy. But some of the ways that I'm trying to do better are basically I now have the confidence to know this product is going to sell. And it just took me a while. And honestly, I would take some of the inventory issues we've had over the past 2 years over the alternative of over ordering the wrong thing, spending a ton of money, especially in the beginning. You don't know what is going to resonate in a product-based business. Spend more money to order smaller quantities and sleep well at night. Then your customers will tell you loud and clear what they love, and then you can slowly just order larger and larger quantities. Now we work with our wholesalers and we order such large quantities that we'll get a price break even more than wholesale. So basically I'll just ask them, how much do I have to order to get a price break? Yeah. And they'll tell me, and I'll be like, that is a lot of bath fizzies. Let's do it. And so that's one way. But I mean, I work with a lot of smaller businesses where the products are made by hand by each person. And that is a wonderful, wonderful thing. And I would never give it up. And the difficult thing about that is that each product is made by hand, lovingly by someone. And so they don't have a 1-day turnaround rate. So it goes with the territory. And I'm trying to do a better job of being an over orderer. Something I told all the Teakettes is I was like, in 2018, I'm an over orderer. Whatever I think I need, I'm going to order double. I'm going to be really brave. But I would say start off slowly and then ramp it up. I would rather see sold out on your website than for you to have to stare at a bunch of things that aren't moving anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, just a total side question. Y'all have some amazing chocolate and some teas and some coffee in your store. So how hard is it to work around that chocolate and not eat it?
I've never tried that. I eat so much chocolate. It's crazy. Another good reason to not have it be in the store. I mean, I'll just like wander in there. It's just that room right over there, full of candy 24/7. Yeah, the chocolate bars are delicious. And my personal kryptonite were these Sugarfina ice cream cones. The bears are really amazing too, but they just came out with these ice cream cones that are like marshmallowy, foamy, and they are insane. Yeah.
Okay. I haven't tried the marshmallows yet. I've definitely had the bears, and anything else Sugarfina is always really good.
So good. Yeah, let's go back in time, Meredith, and start Sugarfina 5 years ago. Yeah, okay? Exactly. Let's just do that. It was such a good idea.
It was. It is such a great idea. So we still have a couple questions coming in. And so Susie loves handcrafted stuff. And so where do you find the people that make these handcrafted items that you know it's a good quality, it's not going to be poor workmanship, and they're going to be consistent with what they do?
2 ways. One is everybody knows that boutique store in their city that you just walk in and it's just amazingly curated, especially in the beginning. I mean, I just walked in stores like that. And especially when I traveled and I tried to go to Teak and my husband called them Teak and Twine stores, because I'd be like, I'm going in here and I would just buy one of everything that I thought could possibly be a good product fit. And then I'd reach out to the company. And at this point, the main way is from people reaching out to me. So I would say don't hesitate to reach out to folks, because I have definitely made purchases from people and where they told me later, like I was their first purchase. I'll ask to see a sample first, but if what you're doing is good, I don't care how many Instagram followers you have at all. Yes. All I care about is is it a beautiful product? So this is kind of a sidebar, but I could give my tips on, like, if you are reaching out to a potential supplier, customer, wholesaler, store, on like what that email should look like. One is to do some research on that store. I mean, goodness, at least spend 10 minutes customizing the email. I am very turned off if the email is clearly cut and pasted and blitzed out to 1,000 people. If you call my company Tweak and Twine, it shows a certain level of really not trying, and I'm probably not going to get much further in your email. But if you write me an email and you call me Torrance instead of Teak and Twine Team, which takes 30 seconds to go to the about page, and you tell me even one example of how your products could fit into my gift boxes, as opposed to just saying, I think my product is a good fit for your store, which shows you have no idea who I am or what I sell. But if you say, I sell this and I think it would be an awesome fit in this gift box, be specific about how you think that you're a good fit.
Yeah.
And lastly, include photos of your items. So I have a lot of folks who will write to me and say, I think this would be a good fit for your store. Let me know if you would like to see photos or learn more about our wholesale policies. Why would you make that more difficult? You've just created why, it doesn't need to be several emails. Send everything all at once. Of course, I want to see the photos if I'm at all interested, and see the wholesale policy and read your line sheet. So yeah, I would just say, try to be specific. And we do that for all of our emails. So when we get an initial inquiry from someone, we always go to their website and read about them and go to their about page, so that our response to them is personalized every single time. And it takes more time, but it's 100% worth it.
Yes. And I think that that same level of attention to the business you're reaching out to, the person you're reaching out to, can kind of spill over into whether you're a product-based business and reaching out to someone like you, or whether you are a wedding planner who's trying to get to know people in the market. If you just take that 5-10 minutes to look at the about page, read a couple Instagram posts, and kind of get to know who that business is or who that business owner is, it goes a lot farther than just simply sending out, like you said, a mass amount of emails that are just cut and pasted. And just knowing simple things like, you've got a cat that is like a mascot for we've seen her go across from time to time. And just simple things like that, being able to kind of connect with who it is that you want to do business. It's that extra level of respect for that business owner. Okay, guys. So you've had some great questions to ask Torrance tonight. I'm going to start kind of wrapping it up here. And so if you have one or two more questions, throw them in real quick and we'll answer those. I'm going to ask Torrance one last question myself, and then we will wrap it up for the evening. So as a business owner who has had rapid growth, is there any one key thing that you haven't mentioned already that you would say, either go use this tool or don't do this thing, that you've learned from this rapid growth, that you would say to people who are growing their business and relocating? Just like one nugget.
Well, I'll say the first thing that came to mind, which is that if you are in the beginning phases of your business, try to, and I touched on this a little bit, but try to be open-minded about what your specific product is going to be, and be very sure about who you want to serve, and very sure about what kind of service you want to provide. and how you want to feel as a business owner, but not as don't hold on so tightly to the thing that you want to create, because I'm lucky that I get to run a business where I sell something that I love, but I can assure you that it is 100 times more fun to run a very successful hammer business than it is to run a very unsuccessful business, selling something that you love and are going to love less every second, because you will become resentful of that service. So I think that creating something that your customers are asking for will go a long way, and will be so much more fun in the long run.
Yeah, I absolutely. And you've had that kind of evolve as you started out and then moved into the space that you're in now. Thank you so much for taking the time tonight to come in and share all these just really golden pieces of information, and answering questions from people that have kind of put those in here. Guys, if you are curious about where to find Torrance, it is Teak and Twine. Just so you know. And I will throw that up there. You can find her on Instagram. You can find her on pretty much any social media platform, I believe.
We're not very active tweeters, I have to say.
Yeah.
Not a lot of tweeting going on at Teak and Twine.
That's helpful. But you can find her on definitely on Instagram. Make sure you go follow her, leave a comment, check out her website, and we will definitely be letting you guys know when this amazing new vendor experience happens with her website, so that you guys can go check it out. So thank you so much for joining us. And everybody, I hope you have a